Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be part one of my makeup inventory. In this video, we will be covering primers, BB creams, foundations, powders, concealers, color correctors. Is that it? Setting sprays. That's it. It should be a pretty quick video. I'm really happy to see that I made a lot of progress in these categories this year. That's what I like seeing. I want these numbers to go down. I still have too much of almost everything, but I'm heading in the right direction for a lot of these categories, which is amazing. So if you'd like to see what my inventory is looking like for any of those categories, please stay tuned. Okay, we are starting part one of my makeup inventory, and these are all of my primers for my face. I had 21 last year. I used up 3, and one new one came in, the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Hour. We could debate, or Magic Cream. We could debate over whether this is a moisturizer or a primer, but it has to go into one category. And since it is so expensive, I'd rather treat it like a primer than a moisturizer I just slap on. I'm happy this category went down to 2. This makes my overall count for this year at 19, so I'm out of the 20s, which also feels really good. It hasn't been that long since I finished the Pixie primer that I was working on, and so since I finished that, I've kind of been playing around with this Laura Mercier primer. It's just a foundation primer. It's very moisturizing. It's more like a moisturizer than anything else. And it doesn't feel like there's a lot in here. I don't know if I'm going to be putting that in a project, but I think I'm going to be keeping it in the bathroom and just trying to work on it on the side. What I do think is going into a project is going to be this Ren Perfect Canvas. You will have already seen the intro for this project, but it's going into 54321. And I received this, I won this actually. I won this through an Influencer badge prize. I don't know if Influencer still does that, but if you completed a badge in Influencer, your name would be like thrown into a hat for a prize for the company that you won the badge through. And I won this from Ren and Influencer, and I really like this product, but I haven't used it in a long time. And it's called a skin finishing serum, but I used it as a primer, and that's how I really enjoyed it. So I think I'm finally going to be using that product. I did get a lot of use out of this peach primed and peachy primer last year. It's getting down there. I really only like to use that in the summertime. This is one of my favorite primers of all time, but I like to save it for summer when I'm unusually greasy or oily. So once summer ends, I force myself to put it away. I also worked on this at the beginning of last year. This was in my 50 Shades of Purple, and I'd love to get back to it and finish it off. I'm about halfway done with the bottle. And I have put this Bobbi Brown face base in my Shop My Stash for winter because this is just such a nourishing and moisturizing primer. I really like it. But I don't know if it's going to go in a project just yet. For now, I'm going to keep working on this, and I'm going to put this in a project. So hopefully I could definitely knock those 2 out this year. And we'll see what else I can do. But we are down to 19 from 21. Okay, here is my inventory of BB and CC creams. I am so excited to let you guys know that this category finally went down by 2. It's been hovering around 7 or 8 for the last 4 years, and I finished off 2 of my BB creams, both of which I had been trying to finish for a long time and just couldn't do it, but I did it this year. So we are down to just 5. I've actually recently been testing out this BB cream, which I received for a review from 08L. It's a K-Beauty brand, and I've actually really been enjoying this a lot, and I think this is going to be going into a project. You will have already seen it, but I'm planning on putting this in 54321, which starts tomorrow. But I've been wearing this already for at least a week because I wanted to test it out and make sure I liked it first and made sure that it was a good color match for me, and it is. So Hopefully this category will be down to 4 next year. I actually have this It Cosmetics Illumination CC Cream in my Shop My Stash, but I'm worried that it's still a little bit too dark, even though this is the shade Light. This is medium. I can only wear this in like summer, but even Light seems too dark, so I don't know. Maybe I'll still test it out, but I think this is one I could pan, and this is one that's a really good color match for me. So I'm going to start working on this one to pan it. It's pretty full still. But yeah, I'm so happy to be down to 5. Yay! Okay, up next are my liquid foundations. I had 19 last year and I used up 1, so I am down to 18 this year. This category is very, very slowly going down, and I'm happy about it. 18 is an all-time low. That is an all-time low since I started my inventory in 2017. So, woohoo! I've basically been between 19 and 21 for the last 6 years. So, I'm happy to finally be down to 18. I don't count these in my inventory, but I always include them in the picture to kind of remind myself that I have them, but I don't count these. During the year of 2022, I did work on these 2 foundations a bit, especially the Peach Perfect throughout the summer. This is a really good summer shade for me. The Do You, which is a shade nude, is a pretty good winter shade, and I used it for about the last month or so, but I have decided to switch out this foundation for a BB cream that I've already talked about. I've also pulled this Rimmel Stay Matte for my winter Shop My Stash. This is in the shade True Ivory. I haven't used this in a long time. I did pan one of these in a different shade before, and I'd like to get some use out of that. But I don't have any solid plans to pan any of these this year. I do expect that I'll probably start working on this one again this summer, and that will be like my 3rd or 4th summer in a row working on that particular foundation. So I don't know, maybe this will be the summer I finish it off. I doubt it, but maybe. I also definitely plan to start playing around with some of these darker shades that are sometimes too dark for me even in the summer, and mixing them with the BB cream as I start to get a tan throughout the year. So hopefully I can play with some of these darker shades a little bit, and hopefully I could pan one of these again next year, but right now I don't have one picked out, like designated to pan. So we'll see what happens. But I'm happy this category went down by 1. Okay, this category is the rest of my foundations. They are either in jars or stick forms. They're different consistencies, so I group them differently. Although one day I hope to have all of my foundations in just 1 post, because 2 posts of foundations is a little bit ridiculous. I didn't work on these at all last year, none of these. I might have worked on this in Project 10 Uses. I can't remember if that was in 2022 or 2021. I might have worked on that one, but I haven't actively been panning any of these products in a long time. So there was 10 last year, there's 10 this year, it's the same 10. I would love to work on these. I would love to get this category down by 1. I don't know, I'm so slow at panning foundations. A lot of these are in deeper shades. As per usual, I like to buy deeper foundations than my actual skin tone for some reason. Both of these foundation sticks are lovely, but they're in my summer shade, and unfortunately, I prefer stick foundation in the winter. They're just a little bit too fussy in the summer. They kind of feel like they're melting off my face when it's hot and humid. But maybe I will work on one of those this summer. I don't know. We'll see what I can do, but I haven't worked on any of these in the past year, and it's the same 10. Okay, moving on to concealers. I had 29 last year, and I am down to 27. I am so happy that this category went down by 2. 27 is an all-time low since starting my inventory. We've hit new lows, which I'm happy about. However, 27 is still way too much. By the way, I'm trying to remember to open some of these compacts so you guys can see inside this year. I did have a request after last year's inventory to open the products. So I'm hold me accountable, guys. I'm trying to remember. Over the past year, aside from finishing 2 concealers, one of them was the Benefit Realness of Concealness Kit, which was an oldie, and the other one was an Edward Best Stick Concealer. I've also been working on these 2 right here. This is a Maybelline Fit Me. It worked out nicely as an under eye concealer in the focus. It worked nicely as an under eye concealer in the summertime and as a like all over foundation in the fall and winter. And I might use it up more as a foundation than an under eye concealer because I'm good on under eye concealers for now, guys. I have a lot. I've also been working on this old MAC concealer. This is the Studio Finish concealer. I've had this for a while. I know exactly when I bought it. I'm not going to say it out loud, but it's been a while. I'm currently trying to finish that little bit of product so that I could have a spot from the center of the pan all the way up the side. This is in the Panner's pan. Sorry about the hair that got lodged in there. That's disgusting. But that is a really good concealer. They're in the same boat. This makes a really good under eye concealer in the summer. And during the fall, winter, and spring, I like to spot conceal with it on my face and like around my nose. But yeah, so those are the 2 I'm currently working on. What am I going to use up this year? I need to put one of these in a project. And I think I need to use one of these up as a foundation. I'm kind of leaning in towards this Time Balm. I think this would make a really good foundation, actually. I don't know. This Super BB concealer might make a good foundation from Physicians Formula. I don't know. I need to put one of these in a project and move it on out though, because this category is still way, way, way too high. Guys, remember Mascara Beauty? I have 4 different Mascara Beauty pans, and this is really yellow, which is also one of the pans is a cream bronzer. So probably once, if I should finish the cream bronzer I'm currently working on, I might jump into these Mascara Beauty products and start working on them, but because I want to work on them all together. That's how they were designed. But I'm always either panning a cream bronzer or I'm panning a concealer, and so it's never, the stars haven't aligned yet for me to work on all 4 at the same time. But maybe this year will be the year. But yeah, I really need to put one of these in a project and pan them to keep these numbers going down. These 2 are currently in my winter Shop My Stash. I think they would make good under eye concealers when I'm at my palest. But what am I going to do? I don't know. I hope you'll see some of these in a project throughout the year because I need to keep getting this number down more. 27 is good, but still too high. Okay, this is my inventory of color correctors. I had 6 last year in my photo. Technically, I had 7 last year, and I have 7 this year. This just has never made it into any of my inventory photos. This is a pen style color corrector from Trish McAvoy that I received. I've had it forever. It's been in this little kit and I always forget to take it out. Hold on, it's just been in a kit and I always forget to take it out and count it separately. And I've never used it before. I just twisted it up to make sure it was a color corrector last night, and it is. But so technically these are the same 7 I've always had, but I just never counted this one before. Over the past year, I did finish the product that was on this side, so I still have 1 green color corrector. This is technically not a color corrector, it's just a concealer. It's the remaining product from my Edward Best concealer stick, and I am still working on it. It's gonna last all year. But I'm only counting this as far as color correctors. I'm not really counting this as anything at this point. So I still have this, and then all the rest of these are kind of like peachy, pinky under eye concealers. This one's the peachiest. There's really no pink in that one. It's kind of an orangey, peachy shade. The rest have a little bit of a pink tint to them, which works best for my under eyes. I'm currently working on this one from Pixie. And I think it will be gone certainly this year, hopefully in the next couple months. Once this one's all done, I'm not really sure what I'm going to work on. This one, which is the Catrice one, is brand new. I've never used it. This Becca one and this Bobbi Brown one I have used a few times, but they're pretty much brand new. I will continue to work on this one too. It's been in Partners in Cream. Hopefully I could finish this off. Hopefully I could finish both of these off and get this old broken compact out of my life. So this is where we are currently at with my color correctors. This is my category of loose powders. Some of these are more like translucent setting powders. Some are more like full coverage foundation powders. But I put them all in the same category because who wants to take multiple pictures of powders? I had 17 last year and I am down to 15. I used up 2. Both of them were on the smaller side, like about this size, but I don't care because this category went down by 2 and I am so happy. 15 is not a record for me. My lowest number was 13 loose powders, which is back in 2017 when I first started my inventory. So I still need to use up 3 more to get to an all-time low, but I am so happy this category went down by 2, and I'm almost done with another one. I'm always talking about this powder, but this is actually an e.l.f. mineral foundation. It's the same one as this one, actually. So it's the e.l.f. mineral foundation in Fair. And I've been working on this for a good chunk of this year. I think it'll be gone in the next couple months. And once it is gone, I'm going to dump out the contents of this container into this packaging because I just prefer that packaging for applying the powder. But I'm not going to pan this. I just want to finish panning this to get that out of my collection and count it as an empty. Well, actually, I'll be getting rid of this, but you know what I'm saying. So that I will have this category go down by 1 more at least for next year. But once this one is gone, I have no plans to put any of these into projects. I want to start working on my pressed powders for a while again because I've been ignoring them for most of 2022. But yeah, so happy this category went down by 2. Okay, here are my loose depotted powders. I've had 3 forever. Well, at one point I had 4 and before that I had 5. But we've been at 3 for like 4 years now. I did put this tiniest one into a project for the first time. This was basically brand new. I can no longer recall what brand this is. I know this is a Victoria's Secret powder. I know this is a Physicians Formula powder, but I no longer recall where this came from. I depotted it from some palette. I'm guessing it was probably like a holiday palette with this small size. And I put this into a project thinking it would be a good under eye setting powder, but in the end it was too dark for me to use and enjoy as an under eye setting powder. But I did discover that this makes a good all over face setting powder. And I would like to pan this year. So I've kind of decided right now that this is going into a project. I don't know what project because I don't even know what this is, but I'm going to finish this off this year and pan this because this made a really nice all over setting powder. And the pan is kind of deep. It's not the shallowest of pans, but you know, it's tiny. So I think I could finish this off this year and get this out of my inventory. So I'm going to put that in a project. There you go. It's been decided. Here are all of my pressed powders. We're down to 19. I had 20 last year. I finished 1. Nothing new came in. The one that I finished was a deluxe sample of a Clinique pressed powder in the shade Glow. I panned it mostly during 2021, but I didn't finish it until early 2022. So I haven't worked on pressed powders throughout the majority of the year 2022. I've been focusing more on my loose powders, as I've mentioned, and I would like to get back to my pressed powders. I literally just decided 5 minutes ago to put one of my depotted pressed powders in a project, but I have also pulled this Neutrogena one for my winter shop my stash, and I'd like to work on this sometime this year as well if possible. Yeah, this one actually might be more of a bronzer than a pressed powder. It's called Bronzed and Poreless Pore Perfecting Bronzer. You know what? I think this needs to go into my bronzer inventory. It's very light, but it's too dark for me to use as a pressed powder. And let's face it, it's called a bronzer. Okay, this is going out. I now only have 18 pressed powders, but my bronzer inventory is really gonna take a hit this year. Okay, so I'm gonna retake that picture because I'm now calling that a bronzer. This isn't a bronzer, this is a powder, I believe. Yeah, it's a foundation powder, but it's more of a summertime shade. And I did spend some time working on this Urban Decay one this year to discover, you know, how I want to use this. This does work as a foundation powder in summer when I am at my tannest. However, it also works in the winter as a bronzer. And it's pretty close to this Too Faced shade, I bet. No, the Too Faced is still darker. That's a pretty tone. It's got a little bit of pink in it. I like it. All right, so I'm keeping this in my foundation inventory, though, in my pressed powder inventory, because that's technically what it is, and I can use it as a foundation powder in the summer. So I guess we have 18 pressed powders down from 20. Look at that. This bluish one is a like oil control blotting powder. This I thought was a blush for the longest time, but it's actually a setting powder. This is a Prescriptives one that's actually got quite a bit of hard pan, but it's also not a good shade match for me. It's kind of a good contour color, actually. It kind of gives me that cool toned contour shade more than a setting powder and more than a bronzer, which I'm not a big fan of contours. I don't have a contour inventory. I really only like to bronze, but I have it and that's what it works for. So it stays in this category. So hopefully I can get around to putting this one in a project this year. I don't have any plans for it in the immediate moment, but I hope to work on this one sometime this year as a setting powder. This is the last post for this part of my makeup inventory. These are my setting sprays. I had 9 last year and I have 9 this year. I used up 3 of the 9 from last year and I received or bought 3 new ones. This one came to me for review. This one was gifted to me after I asked for it for my birthday, and I really like this one. And this one I purchased at Sephora to try it out because I was very curious to know what the story is with this Milk Hydro Grip setting spray. And yeah, 9 is still a bit too high. This Milani Make It Dewy is almost gone, but I can really only use it in the winter time. So I need to put this in my bathroom now that it is winter time and see if I could finish it off. I prefer to use this Too Faced Peach Mist one in the summertime. This is an excellent setting spray. I am so devastated that I can't purchase this anymore. The last time I looked, which was a few months ago, I did still see the travel size bottles of this one on the Too Faced website, and I almost bought 6 of them on an impulse several times this year. I didn't do it, but I'm really sad that I cannot repurchase this. If you guys know any good dupes for this, I don't need it to smell like peaches, but I love how this sets my face really well. And it has like powder in it, which is like an additional setting spray. It's just so good. If you have a setting spray that you really recommend for oily combination skin or humid areas, let me know. I do have 2 of these Urban Decay All-Nighters. That's a good summertime setting spray. Setting sprays that are better in the winter are the Milani Make It Dewy, the Super Goop, and the Milk Hydro Grip. They both have, all 3 of those are more dewy, like they have like some oil in them or something that makes me kind of greasy. I've never even used this Cover FX, but this I think is an illuminating setting spray, so that might be a good wintertime setting spray too. The Color Pop is just a good year-round setting spray, and it smells like coconut. And I don't think I've ever used this Kula one, so I don't know much about that one yet. But I am still at 9 for setting sprays. All right, guys, that is it for part 1 of my makeup inventory. I will be back hopefully tomorrow with part 2. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.